Good morning, or just about, just about good morning. Hope everyone's all right today. Welcome to a Monday morning podcast with me on BCFC, the project. It's a beautiful day here in Spain, actually. We've got like, I don't know, 20 degrees or something, a little bit windy. How's things in the UK? Hopefully, everyone's feeling a little bit better after. Well, what can you say about yesterday's performance? It was really, really good. Obviously, we're going to have a little bit of a talk about it. It isn't all, you can't just sort of go, well, that was good, that's it, because there's several things to consider about yesterday's performance, and we'll be having a little talk about those in a minute when we know just who we've got on here. So let me see if we've got anyone in yet. Anyone actually hanging around the site? We've got three people who are actually watching us at the minute. So if you'd like to come on, guys, come and say a quick hello to me and we can get this rolling. Um, really good victory. I mean, I went into yesterday's game, to be honest, feeling that we might be safe. We talked about it on the days have all gone crazy, haven't they? Because I can't think of I can't really think what day it was when we did the last podcast. It was Friday, I think, because we didn't do one Saturday. We did one Friday. Ross Landales is on. How you doing, Ross? I hope you're okay, mate. I think my colleague Sarah's going to get hold of you, Ross. Got a little thing you might be interested in doing with us, but hopefully she has. Or if not, she probably will later today or something. Yeah, so going back to that game, it was a case of, it was like the Ipswich game really, where it's very, very difficult. I'm not putting a down on the performance at all. We were really, really good and we were professional. We looked fresh. The ball was going forward quickly. The press was absolutely brilliant. When you got Stansfield and Priska pressing like that, it does an awful lot for us, doesn't it? Will's coming on. I might hope you're well. Good game. It was a great game, yeah. But I think the point I made last week, before we played Ipswich, I said I fancy the next two games because both of those teams are going to come out and play us. They can't come out. And, like Wrexham, they like to sit behind the ball and hit you on the break. And really, they're not in a position to do that now. They did play a slightly different formation with a 3-4-3. So instead of a 3-5-2, which is what they go with generally, or a 3-5-1-1, but they played a 4-3-3, and then it just made them that little bit more vulnerable, I think, in terms of us attacking them. The way we went forward with Vicente and Osman put them under real pressure. I think he's a Kabore on the left-hand side, the young lad from Man City. He was a former Luton player who's played in the Premier League. He does blow a bit hot and cold for Wrexham. The fans have been having a go at him recently, but he was in a real battle all afternoon with Asai Samuel, who I thought when the game started, I didn't think Asai Samuel looked that assured, but as the game went on, he grew into it, and he really did have one of his better games yesterday. Asai Samuel, absolutely brilliant. I was a little bit nonplussed at the start when Laird didn't start because Wagner was at left back, but I think Laird, we're giving Laird a little rest. We're keeping Samuel in that side. It's great to have Kai Wagner back on the left. He made all the difference to us. Not to say that Laird can't do that, but Laird's not naturally left-sided, and obviously Wagner is, and he teamed up really well, as he always does with Osman. When he's played with Osman before, he helps Osman a lot. And Osman really has been a revelation for us, hasn't he? I think he's been absolutely brilliant. He looks so dangerous. He's got so much pace. He's innovative. He defends. I mean, this lad is going to be such a player, and I don't know whether we're going to have the option to get him next season. I don't know. And when I say get him, I mean, loan him for another season. Brighton are looking at like £20 million for Osman. I don't think it's the kind of money we're going to be shelling out just yet. But if we could get him back on another loan, that would be absolutely fantastic, because he really looks like he's starting to get the bit between his teeth. He was a little bit hit and miss when he first came. I mean, you can see the quality he's got easily. He's such a good footballer, but a little bit hit and miss. Now, just so much better. He just doesn't give up either, does he? I love his chasing back and his tackling and his pressing. So much good came out of yesterday's game. Stuart Blaney saying Samuel was excellent. Yeah, he was. I think he's going to be a second choice right back to Laird, and I understand that. I was surprised when Laird sort of was dropped at the start of the season. I really was. I think a lot of people were, and I think Ethan Laird is such a good right fullback. When you got someone like say Samuel backing him up, then absolutely brilliant, because we have had some real nightmares at fullback, haven't we, this season? Despite what anyone says, this championship has been an absolute roller coaster for everyone. If you look at the table now, a couple of weeks ago, people, look what Wrexham have done. They're absolutely brilliant, aren't they, compared to us? They're 8 points in front of us at the moment, and we've got a much better running. 8 points. Well, we 2 wins and we're there, aren't we? Ross is saying Osman was a great outlet yesterday, especially when Wrexham tired in the second half and they had to push up the field more. Well, as I was saying, they had to get forward. The way they set up with the 3-4-3 as well made them more narrow. So when we were attacking them, we were able to keep as a Kabori press back into that wide left position. He's the left wing back, and then so we had Kabori there and Thomason on the other side were both pushed back, because of course Vicente was so on it as well yesterday, wasn't he? I thought Vicente probably his best game for us yesterday. He's coming of age as well, Vicente. I always say coming of age. It's not like he's like a kid, but he's finding his feet in the championship now. The last 2 games has been really impressive. Again, his pressing was really good. But I love the fact that he scored that one with his head. He wasn't scared to go in for that. I mean, he beat the player on the near post. Just a really good goal. And you can see how much it means to him when he scores, which is really nice. I think something to come out of that, the way we played as well, was the understanding between Prisca, Vicente and Stansfield. I think those 3 could forge like a real trio, a holy trinity again of 3 players. Prisca, best game for us so far. I know he looked really, really good when he played against Norwich, and he had an assist for Vicente. But I think yesterday was an all-round great performance by Prisca, and he grew into the game as it went on. He's not scared to have the physicals, and that's what we need up there. He was really physical. He put his foot in a lot. He's got a lovely touch. He flicks on. He's just a nice player, isn't he? And the more he plays, the better I like him. Paul James is saying Big Phil played well. He did, Paul, and I'm not, I haven't been Neumann's biggest fan, but I think he's one of those Neumann. When he's been dropped, he comes back, he looks really good, and then he has games when he has lapses of concentration and he gives the ball away. I love the look of Neumann and Clara together when they're like they were yesterday, and they're playing against Kiefer Moore, big lads. And well, actually, Kiefer Moore played on his own yesterday with O'Brien and Rathbone behind him. But that battle with Kiefer Moore yesterday and Rathbone, I thought we'd come out of it on top. It's just when you get slightly more technical players, sometimes both of them struggle. But I do, when Phil Neumann's playing, he playing well. He looks really, really good. So yeah, I think both centre backs looked really good yesterday. Clara was just an absolute giant, I think. Sean Baldock's here. How you doing, Sean? I hope you're okay, mate. Nice to see you. 2 moderators on. Look, Paul James and Sean. Um, the back four looked nice and settled. I think at left back, Wagner brings an awful lot to the team, and it makes you realise when we see how much we've lost in terms of the left side of the pitch this season. You know, he hasn't had the best of luck with injuries. He really hasn't. Paul saying he agrees they gave them nothing. They didn't give them anything at all. The fact they didn't have one single shot on goal. I mean, you know, no one had nothing to complain about in terms of Beadle yesterday because nothing to complain about. You know, I mean, there isn't usually, but they like to find something. He didn't pick the ball up properly or something. Didn't have anything to do at all. We were absolutely brilliant. Dave Peggy saying he's looking at the player stats. Clara 9 out of 10 and Vicente 9 out of 10. Everyone else 8 out of 10. When was the last time we had that happen? It obviously depends what stats you're looking at, Dave, because everyone has their own opinion of it. I think for me, Vicente probably edged man of the match, although him and Clara both scored. Clara was massive in the back four. Vicente was electrifying at times, got a lovely touch, and the press, as I said, was really, really good. So yeah, you know, it was just really good. Beadle looked really cool. There's times where, you know, we had a few high balls into the box that he took well. His distribution was good yesterday. People were saying to me, have been saying to me, you know, well, you know, it's about time he changed it and went long. It didn't. Like, I'm not talking about Beadle, I mean about us. We got forward a lot quicker because we were able to do it. As I was saying to someone, I was talking to someone the other day, and they use, I hate this phrase, you know, like sideways and backwards. I hate it because, you know, Wrexham didn't play with like a proper sort of, you know, back five yesterday. They're a little bit different and a bit more narrow. When teams play you with that, the usual Wrexham setup, or, you know, when a team goes defensive at St Andrews and they have the 5 defenders and then 3 midfielders in front of them and they defend deep, you can't go over the top. You have to play through them, and that's when we get stuck. So, you know, if someone says, well, you know, sideways and backwards, you can't do that. So basically the only thing you can do is hit the ball forward. So if you've got a low block in front of you, you play that ball forward, then going nowhere except to the keeper or into touch, you know. And it is difficult, and that's something we have to be able to break that down. We haven't had that in the last 2 games, and I don't think we're going to have that at Hull either. Hull like to play football. They were the first team to beat us at St Andrews, weren't they, for like over a year. They play some nice football at times. They're not unbeatable, but they're going to come at us because they need those points to stay in the top 6. They're 4 points clear of Wrexham. If they beat us, then, you know, happy days for them. But I think this is going to give us another opportunity to open a team up that is going to be open against us. I'm not putting a down on that performance, by the way. I mean, I thought it was absolutely. It was just a nice feeling just to get that winning feeling back again, isn't it? And we show what we can do. I think John Solis, that ball winning role he has in front of the back four, he's really, really good at it. And I think the longer he plays, the better he gets. It's like I was saying to a friend of mine yesterday, with the Spaniards, it takes time for them to settle into the team and to get used to English football and playing that many games. And I think John Solis looked absolutely great. It was nice. It wasn't nice when he went off. I mean, he was taken off because he'd been booked. When he went off, but when you take John Solis off and you've got a Paik Song Ho to come on, then happy days. So Paik came on. It looked different. Paik obviously offers something that Solis doesn't. He's a better ball player, but then Solis offers something Paik doesn't, and that's the ability to win the ball the way that he does. He's really physical. But it's nice to see Watta and Paik playing together again, and of course they're just like fit like hand in glove, don't they? They're a good central defensive midfield pairing, those two are, and they did look good. Sean saying, I really think Solis and Priska are going to be monumental signings. Yeah, I agree with you, Sean. I've liked Priska from day one. There are people that have said, not too happy with him. Lee's one of them. Lee Harvey. He always says, Priska, what a waste of money or something. I mean, this lad is a really, really good footballer. But it is a matter of opinion. But I really like him. Uh, and in terms of Solis, like I've said, he's our Patrick Vieira, isn't he? Really, he's got those long legs that just go out like, I don't know what they call him. That bloke that expands, um, Stretch Armstrong or something. But he's like that, that long leg goes out, it knocks the ball away, it puts his body into places you don't expect him to. He's unusually fast when he wants to be. I've seen him lose the ball yesterday at one point and then, sprint back and win it back. And that's what we want. And I think everyone was doing that yesterday. I love, but this is something about Osman again, I don't keep going on about him. But his willingness and understanding that he has to cover that left back position was really, really nice to see. And he's a young lad. And, you'll see him on the right as well sometimes. He just comes back and helps out. He's a really, really nice footballer. Um, I think I've mentioned everyone there, to be honest. Stansfield, not so much, but I think Stansfield yesterday just proved what, this lad's the future club captain, isn't he? He's got everything. I know he's not scoring goals at the moment. I'm not too worried about that, and I'm pretty sure Chris Davis won't be either. Stansfield will. Jay's a striker, and strikers want to score goals. When they're not scoring goals, they're not happy, and he's not going to be 100% happy. But you can't be unhappy with that performance. He was absolutely applied himself brilliant. His press, he's unforgiving, he's physical. He's again, he's sort of surprisingly fast on the ball, isn't he, Stansfield? I looked at him pick the ball up a few times. I didn't realise it was him for a minute. I thought, bloody hell, Stansfield is quick. Paul's saying, Jay gave his all as usual. It's nice to hear the commentators say, even though he hasn't been scoring, he gives 100% effort. We already know this. We do, and sometimes they make some stupid comments at times, but I suppose that's what the job is. Jay Stansfield always works really hard, and the fact that he isn't scoring, obviously a scoring Jay Stansfield is better than one that doesn't, but he puts so much into the team. He's a player that sometimes can drag the team by the scruff of the neck and bring it back into a game, and I love Jay Stansfield for that. He's been an absolutely brilliant signing for us. Sean Bulldog, it winds me up when they put players down. Knocking Priska, he's 21, and they're saying useless as he hasn't scored. Some of our fans have little knowledge. I didn't realise it was that bad about Priska, Sean, to be honest. I don't go into other groups, so I don't know what they say. It's a bit of a stupid. I mean, he obviously isn't scoring. He hasn't scored, but what the lad brings to the team is immense. He brings us height. His flick-ons are good. His close control and speed for a big man is really, really good, and he's physical. So players have to develop and grow. Priska hasn't played in English football before, and he's still a young lad, So I think this is one for the future without any doubt at all. I'm sort of, like watching us yesterday and watching us against Ipswich and hopefully against the Hull. I'm sort of really looking forward to next season already, and I'm not heartbroken that we're not in the playoffs. I'm not. I think perhaps just a little bit too much too soon. We didn't get the recruitment right last season. We didn't, and also I think injuries played a much bigger part than people are admitting, and they're usually the people that just don't. So some people can't have an opinion change, or can't, they can't change their mind about players or managers, and unfortunately it's the way some people are. But I think I think I'm excited for next season. And this thing 6 in, 6 out, I think is brilliant. You know, if we get 2 or 3 really well established championship players, a number 10, probably a left-sided centre half, another striker, that for me would do it. You know, but we just got to wait and see what happens. Um, Cliff Campbell's saying that Prisca's a young Alan Clark. He's a bit bigger than Alan Clark, Cliff, but I know what you mean. I'd say he brings. I was going to say he brings a bit more to the game than Alan Clark does. That would be a bit of a stupid thing to say because Alan Clark, of course, was an absolute monster of a goal scorer. We had his brother Wayne playing for us for a while. I loved Wayne Clark. We got him from the Wolves, and I mean they look all alike, the Clarks, don't they? Just look like with Alan Clark playing. And Wayne was a really good addition for us as well. And I think Prisca's going to be that man as well. He's bigger. He's more of a target man than Clark, but we won't be playing. I mean, we don't play him as a target man. You know, it is good if the occasional high ball goes into the box and we have someone who's 6'4", then it really obviously helps. But he isn't used in that way. You know, we're not going long looking for Prisca's head. That wouldn't be the Chris Davis way of playing football. But yeah, it's an exciting thing for us, I think, and I can't wait to see the whole game and see how Hull set up. Hull set up in a 4-2-3-1 like us. So if they go toe for toe with us, that will be interesting because honestly think we have better players than Hull. Um, it's a big thing to say, but I think we have. They're sixth at the moment. They're sort of, they're the ones now that are looking like if anyone goes out of that top 6, it's going to be them because Southampton look like they're going north, not south. Ipswich look almost certainly nailed on to go second. They play Middlesbrough on Friday, I think. And if Ipswich beat Middlesbrough, it's more or less, I think it's done for Ipswich. All but, all but it actually being definitely done. Ipswich have come good at exactly the right time. Southampton look really, really good. I'm so sad for Middlesbrough really because a mate of mine's a Middlesbrough supporter and she's absolutely like, what can you say? I mean, if that was us now, the manager would be getting absolutely torn to pieces. I don't know, perhaps he does. I'm not really, too fussed about who goes up and who doesn't. It'd be good to have Ipswich out of the division, to be honest, because they are probably the best team in the league at the moment. And then we're probably going to have a Spurs coming. I mean, it looks more and more likely that Spurs could come down with Burnley, who are a perennial relegation promotion team. So Burnley are going to be up there next season. Wolves, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Rob Edwards, he's got championship experience. Depends how many players he has to sell. But if Spurs come down, I mean, the possibility is that Spurs have to offload the players because I doubt very much. I mean, it would be really remiss of them if they hadn't got their players on a relegation clause. But if they haven't, they're in big trouble because they will have to move the players on because they won't be able to pay the wages. Dave Pegg is saying the excellent high press yesterday started with Prisca and Stansfield. Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people don't, like with pressing, you used all the time. They played well, they pressed well. A lot of teams only press from the back or press from the middle. Blues press from the front, and I love that because it really unsettles defences and goalkeepers. So, if you've got someone passes the ball to you and you're the goalkeeper and suddenly there's a Stansfield tearing at you at 100 miles an hour, you have to make a split decision. And we scored several goals this season that way. Paul James is telling us he's surprised Southampton aren't higher than they are. They're a very good team. Can't remember. They did start poorly. I can't remember who the manager was. Was it Will Still that started as their manager at the beginning of the season? And he had a bit of a mare. He did. I think they lost the opening game to Wrexham, didn't they? Like 4-1 or something. And Will never really got it together. And I think they had that period where it was probably the first 4 to 6 weeks in the season when they struggled, and then slowly they've brought it back. So Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. They're looking really good. And Wrexham now with 2 defeats under their belt on the trot. I don't know who they're playing Monday. I haven't bothered to look. I mean, I'm not a big, honestly, I don't like Wrexham. Um, I just don't like them. I don't know why not. I just don't. But don't like the way they play. I don't like Phil Parkinson. I don't like Phil Parkinson's setup. It's boring to watch. They're very, very sort of they play with wing backs, which is something I don't like as well. But Phil Parkinson, his post match comments yesterday were just bitter, weren't they? Steve Daniels is saying hello to me. How you doing, Steve? His post match pro, pro, comments yesterday were really, really bitter, and saying that, well, like we finished at least with a chance of getting the playoffs, which is more than a lot of teams are in with, including Birmingham. I mean, just trying to put the boot in a little bit when really, like, we taught them a bit of a lesson yesterday. Um, so and Chris Davis, of course, fist bumping the Wrexham fans. Well done, Chris. Uh, yeah, it was just an all round good performance. I think we had like there's 28,000 in there, but then I think there's a few people saying they was disappointed with the gate. I don't know. I don't know how they work it out. Do all the season ticket holders count as if they went or something? I don't know. But I did see today that we're also we're the best supported team away from home with an average uh, away attendance of 2,800. So there's no one better away from home, is it? We sell out every game. Um, so I think it looks good for next season, doesn't it? We keep Wagner, we keep Laird, the two centre backs look fine. I think we will get a left sided centre back because I know people are saying, Phil Neumann's played well, he has, but we don't want to be playing players out of position really. And Clara isn't that happy on the left side. So I think Chris Davis likes to play with a left footed, left sided centre half for the long diagonal. So I think that's going to happen. We need, don't we, a number 10. We need a Barry Ferguson or someone like that. Uh, we want that player in there who can craft the ball a little bit. I don't think even like had Blues gone up and Doyle and Wolves had come down and whatever. I don't think Doyle's quite what we want. I don't think he's physical enough. Um, I just don't. He's a nice footballer, but there's not quite. It's not quite there, is it, with Doyle? Um, Paul saying it's good to see CD like that, mate. It was so nice. Chris looked like he'd had a ton weight lifted off his shoulders, and I'm happy for him. No one wants anyone to be miserable, and sort of pressure football gets to you, and social media gets to you, and this is why our group exists, because we don't have that shite. But yeah, it's really it's nice to see him looking happy again. Dave Peggy saying we don't improve on our stats if it's in the woodwork. We didn't. No, thank good God for that, Dave. I think it would have been 39. Just for those of you that might be interested, and I'd like to know if there's any older members on here that ever seen Jeff Hall play. I've been having some chats over the last week or so, probably a bit longer, I think, with Emma Miller. Emma is actually one of only two of Jeff Hall's surviving family. Um, Emma lives in Yorkshire and still comes to Blues a lot. The club look after, the club are great with them. Uh, I don't know any of you or your younger supporters that don't know what happened with Jeff Hall. Jeff Hall was a Blues right back, and he's a legend. He was on the TIFO a couple of weeks ago, and and Jeff, I think he played 27 times for England at right back. He featured in a lot of Blues games right through up, the FA Cup final in 1956 and so on. And Jeff, they were playing away Blues, I think at Portsmouth, and they were about to leave to go to travel, and Jeff weren't feeling too clever, and he said he wouldn't travel on the coach with the club, but could someone like possibly take him to a doctor or a hospital? He's feeling awful, so the club got him a car, took him to a hospital, and sadly, I think it was 12 days later, Jeff passed away with polio, which is a very, very debilitating disease. It was that was rife in the 50s. It took Jeff's life. He was in an iron lung for a long time. His family supported him, but obviously they did. And Emma absolutely worships the ground that he walked on, although she never actually met Jeff. She's got a lot of memorabilia, Jeff's, and she knows obviously knows a lot about him, and she knows what happened directly afterwards with how Blues, Emma's family were really instrumental in getting the vaccine into the UK, and particularly into Birmingham, where they actually brought the vaccine back from America, a couple of members of Jeff's family, and distributed it at the football ground, dance halls, libraries. They distributed the vaccine anywhere, and there's massive queues of people to get the vaccines, and that was really the start of the vaccine against polio. Em's still involved in the battle to eradicate the world of polio, and she still works with the vaccinations. Still goes to Blues a lot, although she lives in Yorkshire. The club bring her down. She's doing a thing with the. She's doing a thing in the a bit of a documentary thing with Blues in a few months' time, and I'm lucky enough to have her on our Sunday morning show on Zoom. So what I'm looking for is anyone that actually seen Jeff play that could come on and be willing to come onto the show with us and have a little chat. It would be nice. And anyone, I know, like we have regulars like Dave Peggy's on the show every week, and I think Angus is and Clive. But what we'd like is just for this week to get some people on that actually know about Jeff, have probably seen him play, and would really like to speak to Emma. We go live at 10, so you can, if that's you can come on and join us. The number will be in the group, how to come into the studio. But if not, it's going to go, that broadcast will go live at about 11:30 or 12 o'clock. It will be a YouTube premiere, so look out for that. And then later on the day, it will be produced into the group. It's one I'm really looking forward to. I've had quite a few long conversations with them, and we're gonna. Pete Hannon's going to be with me as well. Pete, who really is the history buff. I'm not, but Pete knows an awful lot about Jeff, and he's been talking to Em as well. So I'm really looking forward to that one. So if anyone would like to join us on that, that would be brilliant, and we can have a little bit of chat about the whole game as well, which will have happened the day before. But this is a Jeff Hall podcast, and proper Blues legend. It's almost like having Trevor Francis on the show. That's how big Jeff was in the early 50s, mid 50s. So if you get the opportunity and you've seen him play and you want to come and talk to us, then please do. Paul James is saying Jeffrey's before Paul's times, before my time as well, Paul, believe it or not. But that's a really interesting story, Steve. Yeah, it is, and I can give you a little bit of background to it. I mean, what happened was when Jeff died, sadly, they believed it may have happened from some dirty water in the club bath. Things weren't quite as hygienic in those days, and players shared baths, and so he picked up the polio virus. There's two things here. The first thing is that had he got on the coach to go to Portsmouth, it probably would have wiped the whole team out. So, that him not going on the coach sort of saved a lot of lives himself. And secondly, when he did die, his grieving widow went over to the States where they just developed a vaccine, and actually went to them and said, we need some vaccine to take to the UK. We desperately need it. We just lost like this international, world renowned footballer and blues legend Jeff Hall, and and the and they actually gave a vaccine to bring back with her, which she brought back on the plane, and the rest is history. Birmingham was vaccinated, and all down really to Jeff Hall, and the fact that he lost his life probably saved hundreds and hundreds of others. Um, any of you that went to the old St Andrews will remember the Jeff Hall Memorial Board, scoreboard, which was stands where the Ansell's clock does. It's not the Ansell's clock, is it? What am I talking about? Stands in the corner. Fucking, where did that come from? Where the Ansell's clock used to be. Uh, uh, the corner, the bottom corner of the Cop, where it meets the railway end, it was there, and or the Jeff Merrick, the Gil Merrick Lower, as it's well known, as it's known as now. It used to be there, and I think there's an interesting story about it, because I don't think anyone really knows what happened to the clock, because when the Blues played the last game at St Andrews, I think it was against Bristol City, everyone went home with a bit of the ground. People were going with pieces of steel barrier, and pieces of grass, and someone went home with a Jeff Hall Memorial clock, and it'd be interesting to know where that is now. Well, I don't think you're going to get nicked or anything, so if you've got it, wouldn't it be great for Em to get that back? If it hasn't been already found, I don't know. I haven't spoken to her about it, but I think Pete Hannon might know something about that. Could be on his wall inside his house, possibly. Yeah. So if you can make it on Sunday, that would be absolutely brilliant. So it's a 10 o'clock start for you guys, and I'll be hosting it with Pete Hannon, and hopefully some guests who've seen Jeff or want to know about him or watched him play. Anything like that is absolutely fascinating for Emma, because it brings her a bit closer to her uncle, who she didn't actually know, but who is this absolutely like world famous footballer. So absolutely fantastic. Dave's saying, Dad always used to say to us, young lads, if you get lost, we'll meet you under the clock. There you go then. Yeah, so we know where that clock is. Well, we did know where it was. It was like a half-time scoreboard. For those of you that don't remember as well, like who aren't quite as ancient as me, the scoreboards then, because we didn't have our phones and everything, so we were all interested to know what the half-time scores were. So you would have a programme which you'd buy on the way into ground, and in the programme would be the half-time scores. So it would say like A, Aston Villa against whoever, B, Man United and so-and-so, C, so-and-so. And then a man sat in the scoreboard, and at half-time, the A would have two like things that you took out, and he would put the numbers in, 0 for Villa, 4, whoever they were playing. Next one, Man United, 1. So each letter had a game, and then you looked at the letter in the programme to find out what the game was, and it would give you the half-time scores. And then, of course, in the second half and in the first half, the tiles that you put the numbers in would come out, and there'd be a bloke's face sitting there watching the game, having a fag. And then at half time he'd go back in, and the results and the scores would go up. But yeah, those are the days, before we had mobile phones and transistor radios. That was the thing then. They all had their earpiece in, listening to Tony Butler, on your bike, all that sort of stuff. A little bit of reminiscing there from me. Yeah, so absolutely fabulous day on Sunday. Nice to see the ground looking so good as well. The weather looked fantastic. Everyone was on a high. It was a brilliant day, and let's hope this is going to be a bit of a flourish for us towards the end of the season. Like I said, we're actually 8 points behind Wrexham, and you look at a few of the stupid things that happened to us, and a few stupid reffing decisions that have cost us points. It would be a lot less. Dave Peggy saying, great days. Those were, Steve. They were, Dave. They were great days. I don't know if I'd want to go back to them now, but it would be very difficult to anyway, but well, impossible. but I don't know. You always tend to look back on things, in a better way than they actually were. I remember like going from St Andrews and walking down the hill and then up by the back of the church and onto Camp Hill, getting the 31 back to Acox Green, and I think great memories, But you'd be bloody absolutely freezing cold, and Blues had just got beat. You'd be starving. So perhaps it all is through rose-coloured glasses, isn't it? Well, I'll be doing something on Wednesday, I think. We'll do a little podcast on Wednesday. We'll have a little catch up, have a chat about everything, see what the news is on everyone. Just so that everyone's aware, the thing with Marvin Ducks, we don't want to be talking about that in the group. I think the club, if the club has anything to say about Marvin, then I think they're going to say it, aren't they? But speculating about it doesn't do anyone any good, really, and we'll just see what comes out of it. I don't know what the situation is. So yeah, we'll have a little chat on Wednesday. Look forward to Hull, and then I'll probably do a whole preview on Friday. It's my birthday on Sunday as well. So when we do the Jeff Hall podcast, it'll be my birthday. How good's that? Not really. No, it really is my birthday, but not really good. All right, and well, it's been an interesting 45 almost. We haven't had an awful. I know why we haven't had an awful lot of comments, because we got no Leon today. But it's been an interesting chat today. If anyone wants to quickly now make a few comments, we've got time. I just don't want to be talking the hind legs off you. If you've got other things to do, or you're having your lunch or something, if you do want to come and say hello, please do. Do we have to bring cake? No, you don't. I don't even want to mention my birthday. I only mentioned it because I know someone will, so I thought I'd mention it. I'd like to say good luck to our co-admin on the group and the CIC director Alan Humphreys, who today is going into hospital to have a partial knee replacement operation. So I'm sure I'll be doing my bit on his rehab to bring him back to life when he comes out. So they are very, very good operations. I'm pretty sure that's going to be everything's going to go fine. He's going to be back up walking around soon. So good luck, Alan. If you do watch this at some point, you've probably got your phone. You can watch it a bit later when you come around from the anaesthetic that you're not having. He's not having an anaesthetic. It's like me. I broke my leg some years ago, and I hate anaesthetics. So I had like a little. What do we have? It's called a local block. It's a bit like an epidural, and it's better than an anaesthetic if you don't like them. Dave's asking how do we vote? Well, you can vote on the Blues website, Dave. So supporter of the year, we're trying to get our Emma to be the one, Emma Palmer, to be the club supporter of the year. Emma's been absolutely massive really this season for us. She's what she does for people is incredible. Over Christmas she worked so hard in getting the kids' Christmas presents together and wrapping and taking them down to Diggity's and helping every way you can imagine. And then just again with Easter, all the Amazon stuff she does for the kids. Emma's been absolutely brilliant, and of course she's also like an absolute mad Blues fan. She's there all the time. I think it'd be absolutely great to get Emma that supporter of the year award. I really do. I think it should go to someone who's deserving of it, and she is very deserving of it. She's a lovely girl, and she's worked so hard. She's had a bit of not illness. She hasn't been too well over the last couple of weeks, and I think it'd be a massive lift for her. But not just that, she deserves it. She really does. It's great, when the club react to people like that, and particularly supporters, because the supporters do this. The supporters vote for the supporter of the year, and then on the awards night she'll be there in her tiara and sparkly dress, receiving that reward, I hope. Vote for Em, guys, if you can. Just onto the website. It's got supporter of the year, and then you just go Emma Palmer, click, And that's it. So it's been a nice 45 having a little chat to you. Yeah, it's called a local block, Dave. I had it actually. Yeah, it's the same thing, you know. I mean, that's what they are. Anaesthetics. They do the nerves. They deaden the nerves so you don't feel anything. Yeah, I had it. I don't know. It's got to be like 20 years ago, probably more. It's probably a little bit more sophisticated now. But anyway, I'm sure. Hopefully, none of you ever have to have it. But thank you so much for spending the last 45 minutes with me. It's been an interesting chat. Well done, Blues on Saturday. Well done, Chris Davis. You know, I think I'm pretty sure United is going to give Chris Davis another season, and I think he deserves that personally. We all have our opinion of him, so you know, same as we do about everything. But for me, I think we've got the right man at the moment, and let's just see what happens. The players were playing for that man yesterday. You could see that. But guys, thank you so much, and hopefully we can get someone who knows Jeff Hall. You can come and say hello to me, and then come and join us on Sunday if you don't mind going onto the podcast. And everyone else, you can be watching it, or you can come on and join it if there's something you want to ask Emma about Jeff, or you have a specific interest in Jeff Hall. Then please do come on and join us. So guys, thank you so much. All I've got to say is up the Blues, keep right on, have an absolutely fabulous week, and love you all. Okay, and I'll speak to you soon. Thank you.